Hello and welcome to another video. I'm here at Croft for rounds 14, 15 and 16 of the CityCar Cup and Student Motorsport Championships.
So before we get going, a quick look at the Drivers' Championships. I'm currently sat at 5th overall with 440 points for 4 drop scores. And in the Student Motorsport Championship, we are sat at 2nd on 169 before drop scores, not far off the lead.
So the weekend's format's a little bit different again. Yesterday, Saturday, we just had qualifying. Went really well. It's coming right up in a sec. Yeah, and then we got 3 races today, which is Sunday. So more of the touring car sort of timetable. It doesn't give us much time between races today to fix any issues. So it's going to be a busy day. But yeah, qualifying's coming right up.
So let's get into my fastest lap here at Croft during qualifying. It's a little bit cold and a little bit damp, so not ideal conditions. Made the most of the exit out the last hairpin to try and maximise my speed down this first straight. So going into Clervaux, staying in 3rd gear, trail braking, making sure you hit that apex, big bump on the apex there, maximising the exit. Through Hawthorne down to 2nd, making sure we don't push out too much. Seems to go on forever, up to 3rd, coming into chicane. Traffic worked out pretty well, got a little bit of a tow here, which was good. So coming down the back straight in 3rd gear. Coming into Tower Bend, really bumpy in the braking zone here. Got a little bit held up. Didn't know where this guy was going to brake. He ended up running wide as well. Down into 2nd, making sure the front end bites. Straight up back to 3rd again. He did let me through here, but it did jeopardise my line through the Jim Clark S's slightly. These are flat out on these cars. They are on the limit a little bit around here. The rear end gets a little bit loose. Making sure my lights are on so they can see me ahead. Up to 4th. Coming into Sunny Inn. Really bumpy on entry, really loose. Making sure you hit the apex, use all of the exit during the middle of the corners. Into Sunny out. Again, using all the track. Up into 3rd. Coming into the complex now. Down into, staying in 3rd for this corner. Down into 2nd. Making sure we're using a little bit of curb and a little bit more as well. So the hairpin, really vital to a quick lap here. Maximising the entry. Did miss the apex here, so not the ideal. Using all the exit curb. Up into 3rd, and that completed my lap, which was a 154.065. There was a good few temps in that lap, which would have put me on the front row, but overall not too bad.
So as you can see in quali, I had quite clean air. Tows were really powerful around here though. I managed to put it on P4 still, only 0.2 behind pole. So happy with that, car felt really good. Does mean we start on the outside of the track, which for T1 here is a bit of a pinch point. So I need to try and get across the front and onto the inside as quickly as I can. I'm ahead of the people that are ahead of me in the championship, which is always good. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. Hopefully we can move forward. But yeah, like I said, the car felt really good. Yeah, quietly confident. We'll see how we get on.
There's definitely been some fluid drop down. It must have come, Kieran, from Josh Jackson's car, I reckon.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, but yeah, like you say, the marshals seem to be evacuating the circuit now. As we go, the red lights come on, the cars are revving, and we're ready to go for race number 1. They are off.
Yep, down towards Clervaux corner then. Brady Pollock, the blue car, Andrew Dyer to the outside, and perhaps now a slippery surface will greet them through the first few corners as well, just to add to the challenge. They're all away cleanly though, and it's absolutely neck and neck between the top 2. They turn into Clervaux corner for the first time. Dyer trying to go around the outside. Brady Pollock having none of it though, stands his ground, holds the lead through the first couple of corners, and Dyer slotting into 2nd place. That is Richard Jett round the outside in the orange and black Peugeot to 3rd, so he's already got the better of Alex Foden. They're on the cement dust now, which you can see has been laid down, and that's Foden skipping the chicane. He won't be the only one, I'm sure. It's a very congested run through the first couple of corners. Brady Pollock, though, so far so good. He holds the lead. There is one car sideways, I think, at the back of shot, but gathering it together. Pollock leads, under attack, though, from Dyer, who goes to the outside line into Tower Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had to try and defend there, did Brady Pollock, but he positioned his car perfectly. Andrew Dyer didn't manage to lose any positions either, so they've just slotted back into 1st and 2nd as they go towards the Jim Clark S for the first time of asking. So into the left, through the right, and they seem to be okay, but between Alex Foden and Richard Jett behind them, they seem to be very, very close, as it looks like, is that Foden coming up the inside through, yes, he just manages to take the position.
That's Alistair May, actually. Foden's dropped behind both of them after that moment at the chicane. So Alistair May, championship leader from 5th on the grid, is up to 3rd. So really impressive first half a lap for him. Someone slowing slightly through Barcroft. The driver that was tapped into a half spin, by the way, was Ryan Middlemiss, but he has rejoined. He's the red and white car, 2nd from the back of the queue, as they turn their way through Sunny in and Sunny out for the first time. The leaders are with us, and Alistair May is sideways at the complex. Huge slide for the championship leader. Somehow gathers it together. Does he still having the moment? No, back into the pack. They miss him by a minor miracle. That could have been absolutely enormous. The championship leader eventually saves the moment, but that, Kieran, looked like a cold right rear tyre all day long. See these two starting to gap the rest of the field, because of course it was in 3rd place that Alistair May had that big moment that sort of delayed everyone behind him. He came across the line 8th, so keep an eye on Alistair May's car. If he were to finish down in 8th, that would become a drop score, but there's a very good chance he should have the pace to pick up a few positions between now and the checkered flag. So a couple of them falling by the wayside in the early stages. Side by side is in again for the lead, nearly. There was a small overlap, I think, for Dyer to the outside of Brady Pollock, and he tried to get the switch back and had a face full of Toyota Igo on the apex of the corner. Had to lift down to the throttle, and that will lose the momentum all the way now through the Jim Clark S's and up towards Barcroft. The side by side action behind was that Alistair May, perhaps. I think it was Alistair May, maybe losing a position, or nearly losing a position anyway. So Alistair May just doesn't have the pace, does he? That's the 95 car of Luke Bates, the red machine, who was coming up to challenge. He didn't get through, but the fact that Alistair May can't get away from him and chase after the cars ahead is not a good sign for the man who leads the championship coming into this all-important weekend. He gaps the red number 95 slightly through Sunny, and starts now to get back into the rhythm. Quick point on the Student Motorsport competition, by the way. The top 3 drivers in the race, all Student Motorsport competition cars. So Brady Pollock, Andrew Dyer, Richard Jett, those 3 at the front of the queue, all fighting for the Student Motorsport competition win. Championship leader in the Student Motorsport competition, though, is Stuart Bliss, and Stuart Bliss is only 7th, which is 4th of the Student Motorsport cars. So he also has a little bit of work to do if he's going to avoid that championship lead dwindling by the end of the race.
Yeah, speaking of, though, Andrew Dyer is now looking under threat from Richard Jett in 3rd position as they go down towards turn 1. He's not going to come out the slipstream just yet. He's not quite close enough, but as they come round through Hawthorne and up towards Tower, he's probably going to try and line Richard Jett up for a move. So let's see how they get on. But in all of this, it looks like Andrew Dyer has actually caught back up to the back of Brady Pollock. So Brady Pollock, he managed to gap him a little bit, but it seems that gap has gone, and they seem to have neutralised, actually coming through the first couple of corners, Hawthorne, and through the chicane. So they seem to be fairly sedate at the moment, which is not something that you normally say about CityCar Cup racing. But coming up towards Tower, he's having to go defensive once again. Andrew Dyer swings out to the left-hand side, try and get that cut back, but no, he can't quite make those legs on Brady Pollock. Brady Pollock is doing everything he needs to at this stage of the race.
A wheel in the dirt coming out of the corner. Ben Spencer's been one of the most exciting drivers to watch all season long, and proving it again. Look at this, though, for the lead. That was what happened there. That was a slow run through the S's, I think, Brady Pollock. I don't know whether he had a moment or Andrew Dyer maybe just somehow got alongside him. The positions stay as they are, but that's bunched this whole lead group together. So Pollock, Dyer, Jett and Foden very much back in the game now as they arrive down at the complex once more. They've got the lapped number 99 machine, Benjamin Bastow, not that far ahead. They will catch him eventually, but for now, it's an unimpeded run through the final few corners for this leading gaggle. Brady Pollock the lead. Jett is the one on the attack, though. He pulls to the outside of Andrew Dyer into the hairpin. Will he try and go right round the outside? That's a low percentage move, and he realises it, backs out of it, loses momentum, and now here comes Alex Foden with an opportunity to get involved as well. So it's one of those battles, this, isn't it, Kieran, where if someone does go for a move and it doesn't work, there's a good chance it will lose them 2 or 3 positions.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing we've got to mention as well about these cars is momentum is everything. Momentum is everything in racing anyway, but these cars especially, they're not massively powered. They're very, very light, and they're not the most aerodynamic cars anyway. So in this heavy wind that we're having at the moment, the momentum is the most key part of anything that they could have doing through the corners. They need to make sure they get their exits bang on, because if they don't, if they make one tiny slip up, that could then open them up to not even just one position loss, but maybe multiple if the cars are bunched together like they are in this position. Brady Pollock is still leading going down towards Tower. He doesn't look too much under threat at the moment. He does swing out to the right hand side to defend his position. Andrew Dyer stays firmly to the left hand side and just swings back into the slipstream of the number 12 machine, going down towards the Jim Clark S's once again.
Chris McKenzie, by the way, I said keep an eye out for him moving from the back of the field. Started 38th, he's 21st now, in car 21 appropriately, so a good recovery drive from Chris McKenzie. We'll see how much further up the order he can get in the remaining 6 minutes and 20 seconds. The leaders couldn't be much closer as they head through Barcroft, though, for the 5th time. And Brady Pollock has comfortably as he's led the race, I suppose, so far. He's never been more than a car's length or so ahead of the rest of the pack, and Andrew Dyer continues to lead the challenge against him. Dyer with a purple first sector, so quickest of anybody. Fastest lap, though, interestingly, now belongs to Alistair May. So Alistair May suddenly sort of waking up now in 7th position, and with that fastest lap perhaps catching them, but he's sideways again. No, he's off completely this time. Alistair May heads off into the scenery, avoids the barrier, but thankfully no damage done. He will drop down the order, and I just said, Kieran, that he'd set the fastest lap of the race. He was clearly pushing on, but the back of that car just not underneath him.
No, it's definitely pushing, but as this has happened, we've got a change for 3rd position potentially, as Richard Jepp is now under threat from Alex Foden. Going down towards turn 1, Foden on the left-hand side, Richard Jepp on the right-hand side. You can see it on the screen with the two leaders just behind this. They are still going side by side, so let's see who comes out of it ahead. I think Richard Jepp has just managed to hold the position, so yes, there we go. As you can see there, Andrew Dyer just going slightly sideways through Hawthorne. He is really pushing the absolute max he can out of that little car.
He is. Well, he's not the only one, is he? There's quite a few of them that are getting a little bit sideways out there as they ask for a little bit too much grip, maybe, than the tyres are willing to give them. The lapped car of Benjamin Bastow gets out of the way of the race lead. The debris there on the inside line into Tower, but it's well off the racing line, so it should not impede the drivers as they make their way through the right-hander at the top end of the circuit and head towards the flat-out section of the Jim Clark S's.
He seems to have his measure at every single turn. Once again, going into that final corner, he just swings out to the left-hand side, defends his position, and we come back round for another lap cross line. But in all of this, we've got Richard Jepp and Alex Foden have caught them back up. More so Jepp, and so it's really anyone's game this. We've still got 3.5 minutes left of this race remaining, so yeah, at the front it's still very, very close. And actually, Andrew Dyer is going defensive now into turn 1, so he clearly feels under threat.
Yes, or was he maybe having a little peek at Pollock, because he's right behind the race leader. In fact, he's up the inside of him through Hawthorne. There they are on screen, side by side for the lead. Andrew Dyer gets the overlap that he's been hunting for all race long. He's got the preferred line into the chicane, and Brady Pollock tries to stay with him. Oh, and has to cut the chicane, clatters into the tyre stack, rejoins as the leader, and here comes Jepp. Jepp up the inside of both of them to the race lead. Goes the Peugeot. Richard Jepp, right time, right place. He read the situation perfectly, and I think, will get the lead. There's a lot of leaning on each other in the braking zone. He doesn't want to allow Brady Pollock back in line, and he doesn't allow him back in line. Jepp gets the lead, Pollock second, and it's then Foden third. So Foden goes to third, and Andrew Dyer, who was leading 2 corners ago, is off the podium.
And this is what we were talking about momentum. You could clearly see the amount of momentum that Jepp had against Dyer and Pollock going down towards Tower. It's because they got such a bad run out of that chicane, it meant that he managed to get the move. But you can see there's now side by side coming through Sunny in and Sunny out, but they are just trying to make it around. Somebody's gone in through the dust as well, but it looks like they've got out of it. This is absolutely incredible stuff with just over 2 minutes left of this race.
Ben Spencer right round the outside of Max Finn in the black Citroen. That was getting a little bit touchy-feely, wasn't it? The leader's down towards the complex, and they're almost 3 abreast for the lead. Jepp's gone wide. Foden had a pop at Pollock, I think, and they're all still in the same order as they turn through the middle part of the complex, but it's gloves off racing now with, well, is this going to be the final lap that they're about to begin? It's going to be touch and go. I hope not, really. It's one of those races you don't want to end, but I reckon, yes, this will be the last lap that they're beginning. They're lapping in the 1:51s. We have less than that to go, so Richard Jepp has hit the front perhaps at the perfect moment. There is the last lap board. The battle is for second as round the outside attempts to go Alex Foden on Brady Pollock, whose race has unravelled here. Foden's got the run. He's got the position, I think, hasn't he? There must be an issue with Brady Pollock's Toyota, because that was far too easy. Alex Foden is a good driver, don't get me wrong, but his car was noticeably quicker in a straight line there than Brady Pollock's, who, remember, clattered this tyre stack a lap ago. I wonder, Kieran, if that's not the tracking out on the right rear corner.
It wouldn't surprise me, because he should not. Somebody's picked up something. Oh, that's a bad
Max
one.
Finn. That is Max Finn, who hit that tyre stack that had been moved by Brady Pollock, remember, a lap ago, and that was a significant shunt, I suspect. Yeah, red flag out immediately. That's not a huge surprise. What a shame that it had to end that way, but that tyre stack, again, it's an ongoing debate, isn't it, about whether that is the right way to police track limits, and this is why people don't like having them on the edge of the road, because if they do get clipped at high speed, then that is the sort of thing that can happen. The marshals are immediately on the scene to check Max Finn over, and they will, I'm sure, immediately be trying to talk to him and see what sort of assistance he requires, but the race stopped. We were on the final lap anyway, so it will not be restarted. Results will go back a lap, which now... Brady Pollock was leading at the line last time around. Jepp got ahead of him after the timing line, so Brady Pollock may have just won that race by a minor miracle. He was third at the time that the red flag flew, but I reckon Brady Pollock might be reinstated as the race leader, but we'll have to wait and see, and we will let race control deal first of all with the incident at the chicane, and then they'll get to the far less significant issue of trying to decipher who the race winner is, but it's always a little bit confusing, isn't it, when you get a situation like this, a red flag on the last lap of the race, especially in a race as competitive as that one, because it was all chopping and changing right until the very end of the 15 minutes. At the time of the red flag, Richard Jepp the leader, Brady Pollock second, and Alex Foden third. but every position inside the top 6 had changed on the previous lap. So I do think if it goes back a lap, there's a very good chance that that won't actually be the final finishing order.
Yeah, 100%. And it will be interesting which drivers I will be talking to, because at this stage, obviously, we don't know.
No.
Obviously, if Richard Jep does lose it, that would be a massive shame for him, because he did everything he needed to do on that previous lap. Obviously, if Brady Pollock does get it...
It's updated.
It's updated.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pollock has been officially claimed as the winner, so that is a massive shame for Richard Jep, obviously. He couldn't do anything more about that. Like, he did absolutely everything he needed to do. As soon as Brady Pollock and Andrew Dyer started to battle, started to come together, Richard Jep took the advantage. He got the momentum out of the chicane, down towards Tower, and took the position. But, yeah, so he's now in 3rd position. Brady Pollock is the winner, Andrew Dyer in 2nd, and Alex Foden stays in 4th position.
Indeed so. What I can say is, from a student motorsport competition point of view, that the result going back a lap is potentially quite significant, because of course Richard Jep, 2nd in the championship, was on course to win the race and therefore win the student motorsport competition as well. As it is, he ends up 3rd behind 2 other student motorsport competition cars, so he lost quite a chunk of points there. Still outscores the championship leader Stuart Bliss, but only by 1 position in class. So actually it's not made a huge difference, whereas had he won the class, he would have been right on the tail of Stuart Bliss in the championship. He'll have 2 more opportunities later on in the day to try and get that done, but yeah, not able to do quite as much damage to the championship leader's advantage as he might have liked in that one.
So we're just back from race 1. The race got red flagged towards the end. There's a big incident with a tyre stack. Stupid things, I don't know why they use them. Unfortunately, Max Finn collected a tyre stack and it's flipped him. He's gone over about 4 times, and it took a while to get him out of the car. He's all right. I've just heard he's all right. So, but they've taken him to hospital because he did hit his head. So it's a bit of a precaution just to take him to hospital. And his car is totaled. But the race, other than that, I got up to 3rd off the start. I had a good start. I hung it around the outside, although I said I wouldn't. But I hung it around the outside and actually got into the lead about a lap and a half before the red flag come out. And I was starting to get a little bit of a gap. But then the red flag come out and they counted back. In reality, they counted back 3 laps, which I don't really understand why. I passed the line twice in the lead, but they counted back 3 laps. Very frustrating, a bit annoying, a bit confusing. I've asked the questions and our the championship coordinator, is going to go and ask for me. So the result still isn't official. Obviously, by the time I make this video and you watch it, it will be. So I'll have the results up shortly. But yeah, really frustrating. Pace was good. I earned being in the leads, and it's got taken away from me again. So really not having much luck this season. It's getting to me a little bit now. Seems to be doing everything I can. For whatever reason, it just gets taken away. So a bit annoying. It looks like I'll be starting P3, which is on the inside, and I know I've got the pace to go forward. So hopefully a bit more better luck in race 2. The weather is turning. It looks like it might be a bit wet, man. It looks like it's going to rain just before we go out. So setup-wise, is going to be a risk of what way we go. But hopefully we put it together and we can get ourselves a good result. Race 3 this afternoon is the last race of the day, and the red flag that we had, it took him a long time to get him out of the car. So there's a big chance that race 3 won't happen, but they'll try and squeeze everything in. They'll probably shorten the lunch break to try and get us in, but race 2's coming right up, starting P3. Let's try and get forward.
And this could be a very lively run through the first couple of corners. Hold your breath, stand well back everyone. This could get very exciting indeed. Off the line we go, and Brady Pollock from the outside of row number 1 then, looking to try and get the drag. The outside's been the best place to start this weekend, it seems, and Brady Pollock wanting to try and get ahead of Andrew Dyer. He hasn't managed it though. Dyer with his nose ahead as they turn into Clairvaux corner. Richard Jep is there in 3rd. Ben Spencer in the Castrol-esque liveried Igo goes 4th, and Alex Foden drops down into 5th. They round the right-hander at Hawthorne, and they all safely through, I think. Somehow, yes, they have all made it through Clairvaux, and they now turn down towards the chicane. But if it is a bit damp and sketchy, it's the high-speed stuff that is much more likely to catch some people out. A couple of them take the shortcut at the chicane, but all of them cleanly through. Down towards Tower we go, and it's Richard Jep, Max, who's on the move. He's to the outside of Brady Pollock now for 2nd.
Yeah, Richard Jeb loves the damp conditions as he's making a move. Has he got it successful? That's the question. And yes, he does in front of Brady Pollock. Now he's got the benefit of a bit of a slipstream from Andrew Dyer in front of him as they go past down the S's here.
Yeah, through the Jim Clark S's then, and Richard Jebb. Well, actually, Brady Pollock's trying to come back at him. This is brave in damp conditions, but he will go back alongside Jebb, and might be able to get second place back again as we head through Barcroft in towards Sunny. And yeah, windscreen wipers on for Alex Foden, couple of them sliding around a bit through the fastest part of the circuit. And did Richard Jebb manage to go back through there as he turned into Sunny? We'll find out in a moment or two. Waiting with bated breath to see what order they've got themselves into. Back there is the number 19 car. That's Glenn
Oh,
B.
sorry to cut you off, but there is a move by Ben Spencer on Brady Pollock down into the last complex. Brady Pollock has got the inside line, but Ben Spencer's got the advantage down into the hairpin. The hairpin that has caused a lot of mayhem this weekend. Ben Spencer takes the inside line and gets past Brady Pollock for the final spot on the podium.
Double wave yellows at Barcroft, well spotted, Max. So double wave yellows at the part of the circuit they're heading to. That is why.
That is Hayden Payne in the 72, and it looks like he's got front end damage, and that WSC car will not be moving much further. Is there anyone else involved? It doesn't look like there is, or at least stopped on track, and we haven't seen anyone dive into the pit lane, so it seems like everybody else is relatively a-okay.
I suspect he got caught out by the greasy conditions, didn't he, up at that part of the circuit? But I think the rain might have eased off now, so hopefully track conditions will start to improve. And Spencer certainly is pushing on, isn't he? Charging in behind Richard Jebb as they turn through the final complex of corners. Is there a move to be had into the hairpin, I wonder? No. Decides better of it as they bounce over the curbs and head through the first sequence of corners. You've been speaking to the drivers, I'm sure, on and off over the weekend. What have they found the challenge of Croft Circuit to be like? It's so bumpy, isn't it? And you've really got to hammer those curbs to get a quick lap time.
Yeah, you definitely do. We have actually seen some buckled wheels. That's how much they're using and abusing these curves. But again, like you said, you need to use these curves to rotate the car a little bit more and get that faster exit. But it looks like, as they head into the S's, Brady Pollock has lost a bit of ground, and Alex Foden is there to try and pick up the scraps.
And look at how close it is for the lead now. It was the fastest lap for Richard Jebb last time around, 6/10 quicker than Andrew Dyer. That's remarkable. And of course, he's brought Ben Spencer with him. And you're quite right that Brady Pollock has dropped back slightly now in 4th position, so that lead gap coming right down. We're seeing on screen here, by the way, Alistair May. Now, Alistair May had an absolute nightmare, let's be honest, in race number 1. Went off the road twice at the complex. The second time he spun completely. He is recovering, therefore, from a very lowly grid position for this second race, and he's doing a really good job of it so far. He's up into 7th place now, getting himself ahead of Stuart Bliss on the most recent lap. He's actually almost in touch now with the leading group, which heads into the hairpin. Dyer really defending there. He looks like he's struggling all of a sudden, Dyer.
Yeah, it seems like Richard Jebb has the advantage, and here comes the rain once again, which means Ben Spencer might have an advantage, but Richard Jebb is making a move. He's got the slipstream, he's got the left-hand side. Andrew Dyer's not giving him the inside room. It seems like the Peugeot 108 of Richard Jebb has a slight advantage into turn 1. Will he be able to make the apex? That's the question. Yes, he is at least a car length in front. That is a change for the lead, not only overall, but for Student Motorsport as well.
Yes, good point, well made. So Stuart Bliss, championship leader in the Student Motorsport competition coming into the weekend. Sorry, Richard Jebb, start that again. Stuart Bliss was the championship leader, Richard Jebb second, trying to take the championship lead away. And so by getting into the lead of the race, that is good news for him. Andrew Dyer, though, is doing his best to come back at him. In fact, giving him the shove down the back straight, isn't he? Bump drafting the Peugeot as they head towards the braking zone at Tower. Spencer, Pollock and Foden still in line behind. That's your leading group of 5. And then a gap back to the 6th place car, which is Alistair May. So Alistair May actually into the top 6 now. How much of a factor in this race could Alistair be, I wonder? He's got some good speed, I think, in clean air. He's not far behind them as the leading group of 5 negotiate the hairpin once again. This the 5th lap of the race. I am interested, though, to see the speed of that 6th place car, Alistair May. Let's see what the leaders are doing. Richard Jebb pulls a bit of a gap over Andrew Dyer then. His lap time, they were separated by 0.02 of a second last time around. It's now 0.6 of a second because it's 151.7 for the leader. Then it's sort of low 52s. Oops, drama at the complex. Who was that? 46 getting sideways, which is, he says, scanning down the very lengthy entry list, Craig Flynn. I think he was the only one involved in that, though, so manages to get going again. To finish my point about lap times, low 52s, high 51s is the order of the day. The fastest 2 drivers on track are Alex Foden in 5th and Alistair May in 6th. Foden sets the fastest lap of 51.2, only, 300ths of a second quicker than May, and crucially, about half a second quicker than the race leader. It's a brilliant pack of cars. We're not seeing this on screen. They're just coming through the complex now. Chris McKenzie is a part of this battle, so is Luca Proietti in the Liquimolly liveried Citroen. They've been all over each other, Max, for the last 2 or 3 laps. Wherever you are in a City Car Cup race, there will be a battle to be enjoyed.
there will be, and it seems like Elliot Lettuce and Chris McKenzie have broken a gap to that pack of 5 or so cars, but Hopkins has got the slipstream and will make a move. Well, I assume he'll make a move into turn 1. Depends how brave he is on the brakes. He moves up to the inside. He's going to slam onto the brakes. You can't see it on the screen, but it seems like he gets some move down on the inside of turn 1.
Well done. That's a tough place to make a move, actually, Clermont. You carry so much speed in there in a CityCar Cup car, certainly, and difficult, therefore, to make an out-braking manoeuvre. Only 3 minutes of the race to go, disappointingly, and Andrew Dyer has closed right back in on I've called him Stephen Jepp. I've called him every name other than Richard Jepp in this race. I apologise, Richard. Richard Jepp, the race leader. And as Andrew Dyer gets closer, he brings with him Ben Spencer, Brady Pollock, Alex Foden, and now Alistair May, who's very much on their tail. And because of that, had a bit of a slipstream on the previous lap and set the new fastest lap of the race. Did the 392 car. Chris McKenzie there sweeps around the outside of another car down at Tower Corner. I think that's another place gain now for the recovering Chris McKenzie, who was disqualified for qualifying. Oh, Brady Pollock up the inside of Ben Spencer at Sunny. I said you could overtake there now, and Brady Pollock is seizing full advantage of that. They're still side by side as they come out of Sunny. We're focusing on the leaders on the screen, but it's behind them where the battle is going on in third position. Jepp and Dyer first and second. Who will be third? It's going to be Spencer, and actually Foden comes through on the inside. Oh, Brady Pollock, who slips back up the inside into the right-hand part of the complex. Not quite sure how Pollock ended up nearly losing a place. In fact, he will lose a place out of this. Alex Foden has the inside into the hairpin. A couple of corners ago, it looked like Brady was on the podium, and now, Max, he's down in 5th.
Seems like this might be the final lap as they cross the line, and it is. Richard Jepp still's got a slight advantage over Andrew Dyer, but look at that, Alistair May has got that slipstream, possibly double slipstream with Alex Foden and Brady Pollock. He's going to make a move around the outside of turn 1. That is very brave if he can get the brakes on, and he tucks in behind Brady Pollock for now. Brady Pollock needs to defend for his life, but the cameras are focusing on Andrew Dyer and Richard Jepp as they go through the chicane complex for turn 2, and it seems like Richard Jepp has got the advantage there.
Right, so the Jim Clark S's for the final time then. Richard Jepp and Andrew Dyer at the front of the field. Has Dyer got anything for Jepp? Is Jepp just going to control this? It would be a significant victory in the student motorsport competition, this, if he can stay there, Richard Jepp. Remember, he also lost out a little bit because of the results going back a lap at the time of the red flag this morning, so he will desperately want to see a checkered flag, and he'll want to be the first driver to see the checkered flag. Andrew Dyer, though, has other ideas. He's only a car length behind as they head out of Sunny and down towards the final complex of corners. It's now or never for Dyer. If he's got an answer for Richard Jepp, he has to show it now. 2 more corners to go into the right-hand element of the complex. Again, less than a car length between them. Peugeot ahead of Toyota. The Peugeot defends into the hairpin, and I don't think Andrew Dyer will be close enough to make anything happen. It's going to be about the run out of the corner and the drag race to the line, a drag race that will be won by Richard Jepp. It's going to be victory in race 2 here at Croft for the Peugeot, and within the student motorsport competition as well. Richard Jepp victorious, second place Andrew Dyer, third for Ben Spencer. Alex Foden comes home in 4th, and Brady Pollock only 5th. He'll be a little bit disappointed with that result, I think, Brady Pollock, with Alistair May coming home in 6th position. Some of those other battles we've been enjoying are coming home as well. Quite a few cars with the odd bit of trim dragging on the ground behind them, but that's just the sign of what a hard-fought race that was. And Max, a fantastic drive by Richard Jepp to fend off Andrew Dyer. A well-managed win that. After what was a breathless CityCar Cup race, which was won by Richard Jepp. Andrew Dyer second, Ben Spencer third, and Alex Foden in 4th. Student Motorsport competition winner was Richard Jepp as well. Brady Pollock 5th ahead of Alistair May. Luke Bate, Stuart Bliss, Phil House and Joe Moss, with Chris McKenzie 11th and Elliot Lettuce in 12th.
Richard, how was that there? A bit of redemption.
Yeah, after that first race and leading before the red flag and then getting counted back, it was good to take the win. It was tough, having a bit of rain on the windscreen, sitting on the grid's never a nice thing to see. But yeah, I had a great race with Andy. He drove brilliantly, but I just had a really good exit at that corner from the last corner on that lap and managed to get past and get it done into turn 1. So really happy. The team have done a great job, and yeah, thanks to everyone for sorting the car out. Yeah,
talking about the team, what work have they done to this car to help you win this race?
To be honest, not a lot. It felt really good in race 1, and we had the pace to win it. We played around a little bit with the pressures because we knew it might rain a little bit, but not a lot. But yeah, we were confident with the pace already, so we didn't really touch anything. It was quite a chilled between races, to be honest. So yeah, it was all good. So not long in from race 2. Oh, what a race that was! It was tougher than I think it would look on the video. Really pleased to get the first overall win of the season. We had a couple taken away from us. Obviously, race 1 should have won that really, but the red flag got called back, so I ended up getting P3. And obviously the Silverstone race from last month, I should have won that, but yeah, the red flag cost me the race as well. So yeah, really pleased to finally get that overall win. It really brings me back into the championship fight as well. Don't think there's much in it in either championship now, so yeah, all to play for. So race 3 is coming up. There's because it's 3 races. First, second, and third start 10th, 9th, and 8th. So I'll start in P10. The other 7 are sort of random. So don't know who's on pole yet. It's going to be interesting. Just been a massive downpour. We're not out for about an hour. It could dry up. It's stopped raining now. So it's going to get a little bit spicy, I think. Hope you enjoy it. See you in a bit.
So, final race of the weekend. Thank you everyone trackside for sticking around for what should be a fascinating 15 minutes of racing in the Nankang Tyre CityCar Cup. Off we go! And who gets the best start from the front row? Phil House on the inside, the red Citroen of Joe Moss on the outside, bogs down slightly, and Phil House it is then who will have the lead as we head into Clairvaux corner, I think. Alex Foden, though, was hunting around on the outside, and Alistair May's up there as well, looking to put the disaster from race 1 behind him. Then Spencer Beers breaks so much later than everyone else, and Jepp is off. Richard Jepp is off into the gravel trap. That is the danger of starting on the 5th row of the grid, and Richard Jepp bounces through the gravel trap. The race 2 winner is probably down in about 20th by the time he digs his way back out onto the racetrack, and that's always the danger, isn't it, Max, of a reverse grid?
Yeah, that is what happens. He was shuffled out wide. He ended up in the gravel trap. I was literally talking to him before the race, and I said, please don't outbrake yourself. And it might have just happened.
Right, for the race lead, Joe Moss has got the advantage now from Phil House heading into Barcroft. That is Alex Foden trying to buy into this, and the last of the late breakers, Ben Spencer. Well, actually, last of the late breakers, Phil House. Phil House still can't get this move made on Joe Moss, but barges in wide over the grass through the right-hand element of the complex, and finally gets the Peugeot in front of the Citroen. So House will lead. Which of the Citroens will be second, though? Is it going to be the red one of Joe Moss or Alistair May? No, it's not May. He runs wide, bogs down, gets an absolute sideswipe from Alex Foden, and Chris McKenzie comes through behind him as well. Then it is Stuart Bliss, I think, and Brady Pollock in there too. Andrew Dyer hasn't made a lot of progress, and we know that Richard Jepp obviously has dropped right down the order as a result of the gravelly moment at Clairvaux. So, the end of lap 1, it is Phil House that leads. Who is going to be second as they round Clairvaux? I think it is still Joe Moss, Spencer third, Foden 4th, Alistair May 5th. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, Mackenzie has jumped his way all the way up to 6th place from starting at the back of the grid for race 1. He has made himself very good position.
Quick Richard Jepp check, by the way. At the end of lap 1, 16th place for Richard Jepp. The only good thing, though, is the likes of Andrew Dyer and Brady Pollock, they haven't really rocketed up the order in the way that I perhaps expected them to. So they're not that far ahead of Richard Jepp, who is just on the back of this group. Look, in the orange and black Peugeot already, I think, making more places up.
Yeah, I think he needs to worry more about Bliss, where he is for the championship, and he is side by side. I've just heard some tyre school. I think that's Junior Gravina Reed, the Boston College bright red car, making a mistake into the final sector. Harry Barker going very wide as well. But let's have a look at the front of the grid. Actually, let's look at the mid-pack. We've got side by side again with Hopkins. He loves that side by side move out of the hairpin down into turn 1. He's got the outside line, which will turn into the dry line, which may give him an advantage under braking. But look at the gap that House has got in front of Moss.
Richard Jepp was 12th at the end of that lap, 4 places gained, but you're absolutely right, it's Stuart Bliss that he is chasing down, and Stuart Bliss is in 7th position, protected at the moment by his Boston College Racing teammate Andrew Dyer, who's immediately behind him. So the two white and green Igos, that's the target for Richard Jepp. He's only a handful of places behind them though. Brady Pollock down in 10th place now. Pollock, in fact, that's Richard Jepp alongside him, isn't it? So this is Richard Jepp trying to get into the top 10 now in the orange and black Peugeot. He's around the outside of Brady Pollock, and that will give him the inside line for the right-hand element of the complex, which he dutifully takes and slips through. I think Luca Peretti's going to do the same thing, though, to Stuart Bliss. So that means they're together already. The student motorsport competition drivers, the two contending for that championship, are going to be absolutely together. Look, because Bliss eases Peretti wide, and that will open the door for Jepp. If Jepp can make this move stick, Max, he'll be right on the tail of his big championship rival.
Yeah, I don't think Bliss knew how close Jepp was. Maybe he would have given his opponent, the number 3 car, a little bit more room as they go side by side into turn 1. Richard Jepp seems like he's got the slight advantage. I'm trying to see on the screen, and he does, and he's right on the tail of his championship rival Bliss.
Well, they came into the weekend 12 points apart in the favour of Stuart Bliss. Remember, in race 1 earlier on today, Bliss was 6th, Jepp was 3rd, the gap came down. Race number 2, Jepp won, and Bliss was only 7th, the gap came down again. So they're going to be almost level, I'd imagine, at this point. This is really important for the championship, because it's 4 for the lead through the Jim Clark S's. Joe Moss up alongside Phil House, being given a shove by Ben Spencer. Alistair May is there as well, and I think Phil House is going to get shuffled out of line here. Look at that, because he had no draft, no slipstream, no assistance. He went from the lead down to 4th.
Sorry, is this NASCAR?
There's a reason I love this championship. I knew that's what it was. Brilliant racing, isn't it? And so difficult to do. I mean, you talk to the drivers a lot more often than I have the chance to do, but they must really love this close quarters racing. There's nothing else quite like it.
Yeah, they trust each other a lot, and they need to trust, especially in this damp conditions. And we've got a safety car.
We do have a safety car.
Has been deployed. I'm not entirely sure, but
there's a car off at Clairvaux, Max, I think, or a car stationary at Clairvaux, possibly in the middle of the road. So that is the reason for the safety car. What a shame that we have to... Oh, it's in the gravel, actually. It is 61. We both turn to our grid sheet. Ben Johnson, who's off, and that car's... The back of the car looks like it's had a fair whack, so I don't think he got there by himself.
I believe the safety car lights are off. The driver is heading back to the pit lane. We'll get going in just a few seconds.
Yeah, Ben Spencer, 3 times a winner this year, claimed his first one at Anglesey, another one at Snetterton, and another one last time on the Silverstone National Circuit. So Ben Spencer is familiar to the top step of the podium. I think that Joe Moss has accelerated already, though, and he's caught a few people behind him out. Ben Spencer's gone with him, but really Alistair May, Phil House, Alex Foden, they were all caught napping there, and there's some much bigger gaps now between some of these leading cars than there once were. I'm absolutely sure that won't last, because we've seen the way that these cars tend to sort of concertina together. In fact, they already are through the hairpin. Alistair May being shoved through the hairpin by Phil House, and they come out onto the main straight pretty much all back together again. So, with 3 minutes and about 50 seconds still to go, they cross the line. It's going to be really touch and go as to whether we're going to get 2 or 3 laps in here, but at least 2 more laps of racing remain. And Joe Moss defends immediately from Ben Spencer through Clervaux corner. Spencer takes the wide line in, tries to get to the inside into Hawthorn, but there's no way through for the time being. Ben Spencer in the slipstream, looking for an attack into Tower, but also mindful that Alistair May is right behind him. Spencer goes to the outside line and really is late on the brakes. Going to go right around the outside of Joe Moss. I think he's going to try it. There's a bit of leaning, and it could be Alistair May that comes out of this with the race lead. They're going to be 3 abreast again, aren't they, into the Jim Clark S's? Yeah, here comes May. He keeps his foot in it, gets a gap on the outside. 3 abreast into the S's. It's Joe Moss who loses out in the middle, and it's Alistair May who gets to the lead.
Alistair May, what a move that was from 3rd place, 3 wide into the lead. Ben Spencer has got Joe Moss on his inside. Ben Spencer will not let him go. He wants that 2nd place. But massive slide from Ben Spencer, rallying skills, like I've said before many times, coming in handy today. But look at that pole sitter, House getting involved. Ben Spencer had been shuffled out wide. Now Alex Foden is getting involved. Who else wants to get involved with this battle? And it is Mackenzie. That's a big move for Bauer further back as well, but we're still side by side with Chris Mackenzie and Foden. We've got 3 wide for Brady Pollock and Jeb with the number 3 on the inside. Now this corner is very tight. We know how tight it is just with 1 car, let alone 3. We'll see who is bravest on the brace. I can't quite see further back, but Alistair May, huge lead he's got.
Oh, is that going to last though? Joe Moss busy defending from Phil House. He's back into a podium place. Something had happened to Richard Jett because Luca Peretti and Brady Pollock had both got past him on the previous lap. I don't know what had happened, but suddenly there were 2 cars between Jett and Bliss. They're back together again now though, and he's going to have to wait till the final few corners to attack, where he is free to attack because the yellow flags are back in. So no yellow flags through the final sector. They're racing from here till the checkered flag, and Alistair May just needs to keep it clean, keep it tidy for the final couple of corners, and he will get himself a race win. Ben Spencer had a nibble at Joe Moss, runs wide as a result, and Andrew Dyer I think might get through into 4th place because of that. They're side by side into the hairpin. Spencer on the inside leans on the Igo to his outside and will hold on to the position. It will be though Alistair May who comes through to claim the victory in the final race of the weekend here at Croft. Race 3 for the Nankang Tyres CityCar Cup goes to Alistair May, with Phil House 2nd and Joe Moss in 3rd. Alex Foden, by the way, set the fastest lap of the race on the final lap, all the way down in 7th position after his grassy moment at the complex. And as far as the student motorsport element is concerned, it's a win for Andrew Dyer, Max, but crucially Stuart Bliss kept Richard Jett behind him.
That will be very important heading into Silverstone next time out in 5 or so weeks' time. But Andrew Dyer lost 1 place on the line to Mackenzie. Mackenzie had the benefit of a slipstream of Spencer. So Spencer's move on Moss gave Mackenzie an extra place and lost Dyer 2 places.
A nice touch as well. All of the spectators on the banking behind me have stayed to watch the cars come back to the pit lane so that they can give them a round of applause. That's really nice to see. Alistair May then gets the win in the Quattro Formaggio run at Citroen C1. Phil House 2nd in the Peugeot, and Joe Moss is 3rd. Ben Spencer is the best of the Toyotas in 4th, ahead of Chris Mackenzie, and Andrew Dyer in 6th, your student motorsport winner for Boston College Racing. Then Alex Foden 7th, Stuart Bliss 8th, and Richard Jett even 9th. They were 2nd and 3rd in student motorsport, and Bliss, crucially the points leader in that category, keeps Richard Jett at bay. Brady Pollock, Luca Proietti and Alex Jackson complete the top dozen. Then it was Chris Brewster and Benjamin Bastow. 15th for Elliot Lettis, 16th Alistair Mehring, John Sykes, Charles Hopkins, Richard Snuggs and Luke Bate complete the top 20.
All right, and our 3rd place in the students, that was a bit of a different race for you compared to earlier.
Yeah, I had so much pace in that race. Unfortunately, I don't know if Andrew said in his interview, I was caught on the outside in T1, ended up in the gravel. I think I dropped down to about 20th at one stage. I had unreal pace. It's just like, if that didn't happen, where could I be? But great racing with these guys. You know, I know it's nothing intentional from Andy. I've raced with him for a while now, and he's a good guy. So it happens. It's outside of T1, and it's a little bit damp. It's going to happen. But still on the podium, so I can't complain.
And obviously, dropping down that many positions, even though you would have liked to have been a bit further up, it's got to be good fun to come through the pack.
It was good fun. There's a few moments where I was hanging on for dear life, but it's, you know, it's racing. You've got to be on the edge to be quick. So it was enjoyable, but yeah, it's another what could have been sort of race. So all good.
Well, never mind. You end up on the podium, so congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Well, as you see, a bit of carnage in that one. Made for a good video, I hope. Yeah, it's another what could have been race. Pace was unreal. I think I dropped down to about 20th after that, getting punted to T1. Spoke to Andrew Dyer, he was the one that hit me. It wasn't intentional. I knew he wouldn't do something like that intentionally. I think it was just a bit of a freight train of people like stacking up. So it happens. I took the risk of going around the outside. I was on the dry line. I had so much grip out there. I made some good places up after that. So yeah, another what could have been weekend. Even though we got the win, I feel like I could have won all 3 races, to be honest. Yeah, it is what it is. So just to round up the video, it was a tough weekend really. We had some good results, but we really should have had some better results in there. We're a bit unfortunate at times. Just want to say a massive thank you to the TNR Northbrook College team putting together the car for me again and working so hard over the weekend. They really know what they're doing when it comes to putting a race car together and working with me, and the students have come on so far. I can't give them enough praise really. We're battling for that 4th championship. It's very, very tight going into the last 3 races at Silverstone coming up in a couple of weeks. We need to pull it out of the bag to secure that 4th championship and give me a chance for the Drivers' Championship as well, which is still on the card. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you for watching, and if you like the video, press that like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And finally, just a massive thank you to my sponsors, Harwin PLC, the company I work for. Been long-time supporters of what I do outside of work now, which is great. Rainford Precision and Miles Evans, Motorsport fan himself, and I'm supporting myself and Ari, my teammate. Thank you to Miles. United Machining, used to be called GF Machinings. Again, a long-time supporter of myself and really helped me and the team. And Star Micronics, again, been supporting me for a couple of years now. Really grateful for all the support that they all give me. And finally, Rocked It, supplying me with my team wear and some of my custom wear as well, and my luggage bags. Great stuff. Make sure you check them out on their website, www.rockedit.com. Yeah, so that's rounding off the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time.